The Southwind Warrior Wrestling team is off to a 9-2 start in the December portion of the wrestling schedule. Getting an update here with head coach Jake Elsbernd, and this update brought to you by Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian and Becker Hardware in Ossian. And Coach, the record is 9-2. You got to be pleased with that, but I know there's many layers in assessing where you're at as a wrestling team. What has pleased you the most about your guys to this point?
I think a couple different things. One, we got a good mixture of, a lot of kids back from a pretty good squad we had last year. But then where those kids aren't, we have several kids who've literally never wrestled before this season, not in junior high, not when they're younger. They never did it. And some of those kids have had to step in our lineup, and they've had some ups and downs, but they're getting better. But what I like about really all the kids in general is we have been, kind of narrowing, our focus on, a few things here on top, a few things neutral, bottom, and just really hammering them home. And I think that's really benefited this group of kids. Even last night watching Duel, we were real aggressive, and the kids knew what they were looking for and they went for it. And I think, sometimes there's so much out there as a coach that you can see and you feel like you need to teach your team, that you maybe overwhelm the kids and maybe even yourself sometimes with trying to get through it all. We've really just tried to focus on what we believe are the, the fundamentals, the basics, and the things that will work at any level, whether you're wrestling, a pretty tough kid, seasoned kid, or a new kid, whatever. So that's been, I would say, one of the bigger things that this group has just done a really good job of adapting and learning from their coaches and implementing it.
And how much maturing does it take for you as a coach to maybe not overwhelm kids with all of this information and focus on the things that are fundamental and basic to winning matches? How long of a process did that take for you as a coach to maybe realize that, hey, let's just focus on the basics because that's what's right for this kid in particular?
Yeah, it's a balancing act. I mean, we've gone. I know there's years where we have shown too much, and you got to assess your room, and your kids. Traditionally at Southwind, we don't have a lot of kids who are wrestling year round. We got a lot of 3-sport, 4-sport athletes. Those kids. And then we have some new kids trying it out. And that's some programs. They don't see a kid trying it out in high school. That doesn't, but here we are wanting kids to continue to come out as freshmen, sophomore, junior. And so that kind of, you look at your room and you see, well, these kids have to start the basics. And maybe we have this group of kids over here that have been in the state tournament. And it's like, we don't want to slow them down, but you know what, they can benefit from just, drilling the basics too. And so you want to find a few things for your higher level kids, to help put them over the top and to help, continue to grow them. But, in general, I think the good, majority of your team will always benefit from just really, hammering home those basics, those fundamentals, because that in the end, that's what wins matches. And, in 1A, in Iowa, and I mean, we can win a lot of duels, by filling a lineup and having kids who just go out there and compete and work, the basics.
And you look at your squad, you mentioned you had a few kids that had never wrestled before that are in the lineup right now. How do you convince a kid that, hey, wrestling is something you should try, even though they've have no experience with the sport?
Yeah, I mean, every kid's different, not every kid's wired the same. Obviously you kind of are looking for kids that, have some mental toughness, because it's day one is going to challenge a new kid, just with the workout, like I said, we talked about overwhelming them with tech. I mean, it's so technical that, it will overwhelm a lot of kids. And then, just the whole mindset of getting beat down in the room, getting beat in competition. So you got to find the right kid who you think can kind of rebound from setbacks. And we just try to sell them on, we love our team, we love our kids, we love our community, and hey, we want you to be a part of it. And it works for some and some it doesn't. You're not going to get them all. You're not going to get all the kids you want, but we really like praise those kids for trying it, and but make sure that they understand that everything's not going to happen right away. There are definitely going to be a lot of tough moments, but if you can stick with it, and we have the nice thing is we have the older kids that we can kind of use as a testament. Like the older kids will say, yeah, hey, I got beat a lot too when I was young, but look at me now, I'm winning matches. And that's fun when the kids kind of step in and can kind of vouch for you, so it's not just a coach trying to sell their program.
And it's nice having those kids, though, with that desire to be successful right away, even though it often doesn't happen. That's proof that they have it in their heart to be successful, and they want to help out the squad as well, too, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing right there.
And you look at your health of your team. I know you've been missing a few guys here in the first half of the schedule, and you've had other guys step up and fill in some spots. The overall health outlook of your squad, what are you looking forward to come January when you guys get back into competition?
Yeah, we've been very shorthanded, and that's, like I said, a testament to this group of kids. They've just kind of continued to find a way to win, and it's kind of been all hands on deck. Logan Hogman suffered an injury in football. He's obviously a huge piece of the puzzle with our complete team. He is doing a tremendous job rehabbing and working his way back. I mean, just the guts that he has that to want to come back and fight through that injury is impressive. And he's ahead of the game. Probably, I would say, this is year 11. I don't know if I've seen a kid, dialed in as far as kind of return from injury like him. It's really easy for kids to kind of be on the side and almost kind of become isolated from the team because they're not doing things every day, but he's there. Obviously, we know the kind of kid he is, so the kids kind of gravitate towards him as a leader too, even if he is not on a mat. So we'll get him back. Sam Conway, has been out here since the invite. He had a tough match at the invite, got a little banged up. So we're looking forward to getting him back here after Christmas. Lane Quandle made his debut last night at 182. Lane's been a kid that's been a varsity wrestler for all 3 years, won a lot of matches. So getting him back in lineup was great. There's still a few kids banged up, which we're excited to give them a little break here this weekend and get them going. But if we can get everybody where we need to, this is a very good team. I mean, there's a lot of good teams we're going to face here, in the next month, and we're really kind of chomping at the bit to get our hands on those teams. But looking at what we had to do without those guys, there's a lot of kids that have had to kind of step up in our lineup. I think about, a Quinn Hinker, he's a sophomore for us. He's kind of moved in around. Levi Lennon, a new kid, came out this year as a junior. He's been thrown in the mix, helped us out. I mentioned some of those guys who never been out. John Donovan, Xavier Williams at 20 and 26 are pretty much manning those spots. They've had to step up as two kids who've never wrestled before. And then honestly, there's some other kids that we've moved around, but even having we have a couple girls that have kind of been like, hey, coach, you don't have a kid here. Like, I'll go out there, and whether it's a forfeit or whether they actually wrestle, they've wrestled. The girls aren't sanctioned right now, and we hope that they are. We hope that they are soon, but until then, it's like, hey, and we typically ask the opponent, hey, is this something you're comfortable with? Is this something your kid's comfortable with? And the big answer has been, hey, these girls weighed in, let them wrestle. So our girls have even stepped up. Our hopes are when everybody's healthy, we can have our girls just wrestling the girls and our lineup's complete. But that just kind of tells you, I think, what this team is about as far as stepping in lineup. And we've moved, I didn't mention some names, but I'm talking about Caden Bullerman, Ethan Molinado, Parker Timp, we've moved kids up and down just to cover weights. And for us, that's huge, because when you have a full lineup and you have everybody where they need to, you can kind of say, hey, these are the kids that weighed in. That's what we're doing. Unfortunately, this season so far, we've kind of had to look a lot about, where can we move this kid to help win a duel and stuff like that.
And it sounds like, long story longer, your kids are really buying into the team aspect of the sport. And that's always an interesting dynamic, because when you're out on the mat, it's just you and the other person, but your role within the team can lead to more team success. And it sounds like your kids are really buying into that. Fair to say?
Yeah, no, you said it right. It is individual. And I love that part about wrestling. Like you take care of you. Nobody, nobody holds you back. You get credit for the win. The loss is on you, and that's something that some kids, love. And then it's tough on some other kids. But, we always say, you take care of you, and the team will take care of itself. But yeah, this team really is striving for some team success. We were at the regional dual finals last year and lost 3 or 4, really tight 1-point overtime type matches. And that was pretty hurt. We were pretty hurt after that about not getting state duels. And that is the number one goal that this team has, is to get this squad to the state duels. And, from what I'm seeing, and when we get there, I definitely think it's a possibility. We gotta knock some people off, and hopefully, people start recognizing, that we're a team to, contend with. And I think if that happens, I think we're a top 10, team in the state.
All right, Coach, we appreciate the update on Southwind Wrestling. Congrats on a good start, and hopefully even more things, good things to come the month of January and the big time month of February. And most importantly, Merry Christmas to you and your family and all of the Warrior Wrestling family. And here's to a great 2022 portion of the schedule.
Hey, thanks, Darren. We appreciate your support. We appreciate all the support from our community and our surrounding area for, our wrestlers and the Southwind Warriors in general. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. And, we hope to see you guys in the second half of the season at some meets and cheering us on.
Jake Elsbernd, head coach of the Southwind Warriors.